Hello, welcome back to our channel. We are creating a video series that covers 100 interview questions to help aspiring candidates succeed in their interviews. Each question will include an in-depth explanation of its background and guidance on how to formulate effective responses. The current 100 video series will be for QA lead candidates. This specific video is for the 11 most important questions under category behavioral questions that can be asked at the beginning of the interview. Behavioral questions are the most important type of category for any lead or senior role. The structure of this video will be number 1, question. Number 2, category of the question. Number 3, target area for this question. Why is this question asked? Number 4, reason for asking these questions. What interviewer trying to achieve? Number 5, answer structure. How it should be answered. Number 6, sample answer with a detailed response, considering the key skills and other skills that might be mentioned in the resume, including the technologies and tools that are used in the industry in at least 1,500 to 1,700 characters. Number 7, answer analysis. Let's get started. Question number 26. Tell me about a time when you had to manage a conflict within your team. How did you handle it, and what was the result? The category of the question is behavioral questions. Target area of the question is to assess your conflict resolution, leadership, and communication skills. The interviewer is looking for how you handle interpersonal issues that arise in a team setting and your ability to maintain a positive working environment despite challenges. They want to see if you can approach conflict calmly, understand both sides, and take appropriate action to resolve it without disrupting productivity or morale. Reason for the question is, in today's fast-paced work environment, effective teamwork is crucial, especially in roles like a QA lead, where the team's ability to collaborate directly impacts the quality and timeliness of releases. Conflicts can arise from differences in testing approaches, tool preferences, or even project priorities. Interviewers want to ensure you can resolve conflicts without escalating issues further, keeping the team aligned and focused on common goals. Now let's look at how to structure this answer. 1. Briefly describe the conflict situation. 2. Explain your approach to managing the conflict. 3. Highlight the steps you took to resolve the issue and the outcome. Now, here is the sample answer based on the answer structure we discussed. In one of the projects, 2 of my senior QA team members had a major disagreement over the testing strategy for a highly critical release. One advocated for pushing forward with automated testing to increase efficiency, while the other believed we needed to prioritize manual testing to catch potential edge cases that automation might overlook. The disagreement quickly escalated, affecting both the team's productivity and morale, and it was beginning to delay our testing timeline. To address the issue, I first met with both team members individually to fully understand their perspectives. I gave each of them the space to voice their concerns without interruption, which helped them feel heard and allowed me to gather all the necessary details. Afterward, I arranged a meeting with both team members and facilitated a discussion that allowed them to express their viewpoints respectfully in front of the rest of the team. During this session, I emphasized the need for collaboration and reminded the team of our shared goals, which helped set a constructive tone for the conversation. After carefully considering both sides, I proposed a compromise. We would move forward with automated testing for the high-risk, repetitive tasks while reserving time for manual testing of specific areas where edge cases were more likely to occur. This plan ensured that we maintained efficiency while also addressing the concerns about test coverage. This resolution not only allowed us to stay on track with our testing timeline, but also resulted in a stronger, more cohesive team. Both team members appreciated that their input was valued, and the experience improved trust and communication within the team. Ultimately, it reinforced a culture of open dialogue and collaboration, which was key to our success on future projects. Now let's look at the analysis that the interviewer might do of this answer. This response demonstrates the candidate's ability to handle conflict professionally and productively, highlighting several important leadership qualities such as active listening, impartiality, and collaborative problem solving. By first addressing each team member individually, the candidate shows empathy and the ability to fully understand differing viewpoints, which is crucial for conflict resolution. The facilitation of a team discussion shows strong communication and mediation skills, allowing for an open, respectful exchange of ideas. Proposing a compromise not only highlights strategic decision-making, but also demonstrates flexibility and the ability to balance differing opinions to meet a common goal. This scenario also underscores the importance of maintaining team morale, and productivity. The candidate's ability to resolve the issue in a way that valued each member's input improved team cohesion and trust, which are critical for long-term success. For a QA lead, this response shows the ability to manage conflict without allowing it to impact deadlines or the quality of the work, which is a crucial aspect of leadership in any high-stakes, deadline-driven environment like QA. Additionally, it emphasizes the need for balancing technical strategies, automation versus manual testing, in a way that meets both efficiency and thoroughness, which is a key responsibility for a QA lead. Question number 27. Can you describe a time when you had to handle multiple tasks or projects with competing deadlines? How did you prioritize and ensure each was completed successfully? The category of the question is behavioral questions. Target area of the question is to assess time management, prioritization, and organizational skills. The interviewer is looking to understand how you handle situations where you're juggling multiple priorities and deadlines. This question aims to reveal whether you can manage your workload effectively under pressure and ensure that high-priority tasks are completed on time without compromising quality. Reason for the question is, QA leads are often required to oversee several projects simultaneously, each with its timelines, risks, and expectations. The ability to prioritize effectively ensures that critical defects are addressed on time and that resources are allocated efficiently. Companies are increasingly looking for leaders who can balance competing demands while keeping stakeholders informed and maintaining the quality of deliverables. Now let's look at how to structure this answer. 1. Describe the situation and the competing priorities. 2. Explain the method or strategy you used to prioritize tasks. 3. Highlight the result and how you ensured all projects were completed on time. Now, here is the sample answer based on the answer structure we discussed. During a particularly busy quarter, I was tasked with overseeing 2 major product releases, both of which had tight deadlines and significant stakeholder visibility. At the same time, I was leading a team-wide initiative to revamp our automation framework, which had long-term benefits for our QA efficiency, but required careful planning and execution. Each of these projects had its timeline, risks, and resource constraints, making it critical for me to effectively balance and prioritize tasks to ensure everything stayed on track. To manage these competing demands, I first categorized the tasks using an urgency importance matrix, breaking them into urgent, important, and lower priority categories. I met with the product managers from both releases to clarify which deadlines were fixed and which might have some flexibility, allowing me to sequence the tasks more effectively. After understanding the scope and dependencies of each project, I created a detailed timeline, breaking down each release into smaller milestones and incorporating buffer time to account for unexpected challenges. I then communicated this plan to my team, ensuring everyone understood their roles and how each task fit into the overall project goals. Regular check-ins were scheduled, not only to monitor progress, but also to allow room for adjustments in case any unforeseen obstacles arose. I also kept stakeholders in the loop by providing regular status updates, which helped manage expectations and kept the projects moving forward smoothly. By staying organized and maintaining open communication lines, we successfully launched both products on time, and we were able to make significant progress on the Automation Framework initiative. The framework improvements, though secondary in priority at the time, were completed with high quality and contributed to better testing efficiency in subsequent releases. The experience taught me the importance of flexibility and proactive planning when managing multiple critical projects. Now let's look at the analysis that the interviewer might do of this answer. This response highlights the candidate's ability to handle multiple high-priority tasks under tight deadlines, which is a key requirement for a QA lead role. The use of an urgency importance matrix demonstrates a structured and strategic approach to prioritization, showing that the candidate can differentiate between immediate needs and longer-term goals without losing focus on either. Proactive communication with both the team and stakeholders is a crucial point, as it shows the candidate's ability to manage expectations and keep everyone aligned on progress, which is essential for preventing delays or misunderstandings. The response also demonstrates a clear focus on both short-term and long-term outcomes. While the immediate goal was to deliver both product releases on time, the candidate also ensured that progress was made on the automation framework, showing a balance between immediate project needs and future improvements. This reflects the candidate's ability to think ahead, which is important for maintaining ongoing QA process improvements. Furthermore, the emphasis on adaptability, by building buffer time into the plan and adjusting as needed, shows resilience and a problem-solving mindset, both of which are critical for a leadership role in QA. Question number 28. Describe a time when you had to learn a new tool or technology quickly to complete a project. How did you approach it, and what was the result? The category of the question is behavioral questions. Target area of the question is to evaluate adaptability and problem-solving skills. This question assesses how you handle situations where you need to acquire new knowledge quickly to meet project goals, showcasing your ability to stay agile in a fast-paced, ever-evolving industry. Reason for the question is technology evolves rapidly, and QA leads must stay current with tools and practices that can improve the testing process. A QA lead who can quickly pick up new skills and implement them efficiently ensures that their team remains competitive and adaptable to industry changes. This question helps the interviewer assess your willingness to learn and ability to apply new knowledge in real-world situations. Now let's look at how to structure this answer. 1. Briefly describe the new tool or technology and the project's requirements. 2. Explain your approach to learning the tool or technology. 3. Highlight how you applied the new skills and the outcome of the project. Now, here is the sample answer based on the answer structure we discussed. During a crucial project where we were transitioning to a new CI/CD pipeline, I was tasked with integrating automated tests into the process using Jenkins, a tool with which I had very limited experience at the time. The project was essential to improving our deployment efficiency, and with a tight deadline, I had to quickly get up to speed on Jenkins to ensure the integration was smooth and effective. I started by blocking out time each day to go through Jenkins's official documentation, focusing on the aspects most relevant to our needs, such as creating and configuring pipelines, managing build triggers, and integrating with Selenium for our automated tests. To accelerate my learning, I also watched video tutorials and participated in online forums where Jenkins users shared their experiences and solutions. Additionally, I reached out to colleagues who had previously worked with Jenkins and gathered insights on best practices, potential pitfalls, and ways to optimize test execution within the CI/CD pipeline. Within a few days, I had acquired a solid understanding of Jenkins, and I began configuring pipelines for our automated regression tests. I set up the pipeline to trigger test runs with each code commit and configured notifications to alert the development team of any failures in real time. I also implemented parallel test execution to improve efficiency and ensure faster feedback during the deployment process. The result was highly successful. We saw immediate improvements in the speed and reliability of our deployment cycles. Automated tests were running seamlessly with every code push, and the real-time failure notifications allowed the development team to address bugs quickly, preventing issues from making it into production. This not only increased the overall efficiency of our testing process, but also reduced the time it took to identify and resolve issues, ensuring that we maintained high-quality releases despite the tight deadlines. Now let's look at the analysis that the interviewer might do of this answer. This response demonstrates the candidate's ability to quickly learn new technologies and apply them effectively to meet critical project goals. The candidate's approach to learning Jenkins is well structured, combining self-study through official documentation, practical tutorials, and leveraging the knowledge of more experienced colleagues. This proactive approach shows a balance between self-sufficiency and collaboration, both of which are valuable skills in a fast-paced technical environment. The answer also highlights key problem-solving skills, as the candidate was able to implement a fully functional Jenkins pipeline under tight time constraints, resulting in clear improvements to the team's efficiency. By emphasizing both the technical steps taken, configuring pipelines, parallel test execution, setting up notifications, and the positive impact on the overall project, faster feedback, smoother releases, the response shows the candidate's ability to contribute meaningfully even when stepping out of their comfort zone. The focus on real-time notifications and quick bug resolution also reflects an understanding of how critical automated processes can be in improving software quality, which is a key responsibility for any QA lead. Question number 29. Give an example of a time when you made a mistake at work. How did you handle it, and what did you learn from the experience? The category of the question is behavioral questions. Target area of the question is to assess accountability, humility, and learning from mistakes. The interviewer is looking for how you handle errors and setbacks, your level of accountability, and your ability to learn from your experiences. They want to know if you can accept responsibility for mistakes and take the necessary steps to rectify them without becoming defensive. Reason for the question is, in leadership roles, mistakes are inevitable, but how one reacts to them often sets apart effective leaders from others. The ability to own up to a mistake, correct it, and implement solutions to prevent it from happening again shows a level of maturity and professionalism. Companies are looking for QA leads who can handle such situations with integrity and use mistakes as opportunities for growth and improvement. Now let's look at how to structure this answer. 1. Describe the mistake and how it occurred. 2. Explain how you addressed the issue and rectified the mistake. 3. Highlight the lessons learned and any changes made to prevent future occurrences. Now here is the sample answer based on the answer structure we discussed. A few years ago, I was leading the QA effort for a major firmware release on a smart home device. During one of the later test cycles, I missed a critical defect related to Wi-Fi connectivity, which only appeared under very specific network conditions. The issue went unnoticed during testing, and unfortunately, it wasn't caught until after the product had been released to a subset of customers. Several users began reporting intermittent connectivity problems, which negatively impacted their experience with the device. As soon as the issue was reported, I immediately took responsibility and led the investigation to determine the root cause. I coordinated with the support and development teams to gather detailed feedback from affected users, and we quickly set up a similar network environment in our lab to reproduce the issue. We discovered that our original test coverage hadn't accounted for certain network configurations, leading to the defect being overlooked. I worked closely with the development team to develop and test a patch, which we deployed to the affected devices within a few days. In parallel, I reviewed and updated our testing strategy to ensure we had more comprehensive network coverage in future test cycles. We added several new test cases to simulate a wider variety of network conditions, including different router brands, signal strengths, and simultaneous device loads. Additionally, I implemented a retrospective process with the team to analyze how we could improve our communication and collaboration with the development team during test planning. While it was a stressful situation, it taught me the importance of thoroughly covering edge cases, especially in environments with varying network conditions that could significantly impact device performance. It also reinforced the need to continually improve our testing strategy to adapt to different scenarios. Ultimately, this experience made me a stronger QA lead, and the improvements we implemented significantly reduced the risk of similar issues in future releases. Now, let's look at the analysis which interviewer might do of this answer. This response demonstrates several key leadership qualities, particularly accountability, problem-solving, and a commitment to continuous improvement. The candidate openly acknowledges their mistake and takes full responsibility for it without shifting blame, which highlights maturity and integrity. By detailing how they led the investigation and worked collaboratively with other teams to resolve the issue, the candidate showcases strong leadership and problem-solving skills under pressure. The proactive steps taken to not only resolve the immediate issue, but also implement long-term changes, e.g., expanding test coverage and improving communication between QA and development, reflect a growth mindset and a dedication to process improvement. This shows that the candidate views mistakes as learning opportunities, a quality that is essential for effective leadership. Moreover, the emphasis on teamwork and collaboration during the resolution process highlights strong communication skills as the candidate engaged various stakeholders to ensure a swift and successful outcome. Overall, the response demonstrates resilience, adaptability, and the ability to turn setbacks into opportunities for innovation and improvement, which are critical traits for a QA lead. This answer also reassures the interviewer that the candidate can handle challenging situations while maintaining focus on delivering high-quality results. Question number 30. Tell me about a time when you had to give difficult feedback to a team member. How did you handle the situation, and what was the result? The category of the question is behavioral questions. Target area of the question is to assess communication, leadership, and conflict resolution skills, especially when dealing with performance or interpersonal issues. The interviewer is looking for examples of how you approach delivering feedback, especially in challenging situations, and how well you balance being honest while also maintaining team morale. Reason for the question is, giving feedback, particularly critical feedback, is an essential part of leading a team. QA leads must be able to address performance issues and areas for improvement while motivating team members to grow. Companies value leaders who can strike the right balance between being direct and maintaining a positive, supportive environment that fosters growth. Now let's look at how to structure this answer. 1. Describe the situation and why the feedback was difficult. 2. Explain how you delivered the feedback. 3. Highlight the outcome and any improvements that resulted from the feedback. Now, here is the sample answer based on the answer structure we discussed. There was a time when one of my team members, who had always been a reliable and high performer, started consistently missing deadlines and the quality of their work began to slip. This started affecting the overall project timeline and began to create friction with other team members who had to compensate for the delays. I knew I had to give them difficult feedback, but I also wanted to ensure that it didn't damage their confidence or the positive dynamic within the team. I scheduled a one-on-one meeting in a private and neutral setting to ensure they wouldn't feel singled out or embarrassed. I began by acknowledging their past contributions and the value they had brought to the team, highlighting specific instances where their performance had been exceptional. This helped to set a positive tone and remind them that they were capable of great work. I then addressed the current situation, using specific examples of recent missed deadlines and the impact it was having on the team and project. I made sure to keep the feedback focused on the behavior rather than making it personal, and I used I statements to avoid sounding accusatory. I asked if they were experiencing any challenges that might be affecting their performance, whether personal or work-related. This opened up a candid discussion where they admitted to feeling overwhelmed with some new responsibilities they had taken on outside of their role, which had impacted their time management. We discussed strategies for managing their workload better, including delegating tasks, prioritizing more effectively, and even readjusting timelines where possible. I also offered my support and encouraged them to reach out if they ever felt overwhelmed again, so we could address issues before they escalated. Following the conversation, there was a noticeable improvement in their performance. They began proactively communicating when they needed help and even took the initiative to create a more structured project plan for the next sprint, which improved the overall team dynamics. The open feedback not only helped them refocus, but also strengthened our relationship as they felt supported and valued despite the initial criticism. Now let's look at the analysis which interviewer might do of this answer. This response demonstrates the candidate's ability to handle difficult feedback with empathy and professionalism. The candidate takes a thoughtful and structured approach by balancing constructive criticism with positive reinforcement, which is critical when dealing with performance issues in a way that preserves morale. By acknowledging the team members' past achievements, the candidate shows respect for their contributions, helping to ease the impact of the feedback. The focus on understanding the root cause of the issue, by asking the team members if there were external factors affecting their performance, reflects a compassionate leadership style, one that seeks to understand and support team members rather than simply reprimanding them. This approach fosters an environment of trust where team members feel comfortable sharing their challenges, which can lead to more effective problem solving. The outcome of the feedback process is also important. The candidate shows how the feedback led to tangible improvements, not just in the team members' performance, but in their overall engagement and proactivity. By highlighting the positive changes that occurred after the conversation, the response underscores the candidate's ability to not only give feedback, but to facilitate growth and development within their team. This is a key leadership trait, particularly for a QA lead, who must ensure that feedback serves as a tool for continuous improvement rather than demotivation. Question number 31. Can you describe a situation where you had to motivate a team during a challenging project? How did you keep morale high and ensure the team stayed focused? The category of the question is behavioral questions. Target area of the question is to assess leadership, motivation, and team building skills, especially in high-pressure situations. The interviewer is looking for examples of how you keep your team motivated, engaged, and focused on their goals, even when faced with difficult or stressful circumstances. Reason for the question is, in the competitive and fast-paced world of QA, tight deadlines and challenging projects are common. QA leads must be able to inspire their teams and maintain high morale, even when the pressure is on. Companies are looking for leaders who can maintain team cohesion and drive performance without causing burnout. Now let's look at how to structure this answer. 1. Describe the challenging situation and why motivation was needed. 2. Explain how you approached motivating the team. 3. Highlight the outcome and how morale improved. Now, here is the sample answer based on the answer structure we discussed. We were tasked with a particularly challenging project where the deadlines were incredibly tight and the complexity of the requirements was higher than what we had encountered before. After several weeks of intense pressure, the team started showing signs of fatigue. People were working long hours, and I could tell that motivation was slipping. There was frustration, and the quality of work was starting to suffer. Morale was at an all-time low, and it was clear that we needed to regroup and refocus to avoid burnout. To address the situation, I called for a team meeting, but instead of focusing solely on the tasks ahead, I encouraged the team to take a moment to reflect on the progress we had made. I reminded them of the bigger picture and how critical our project was to the company's success. I also made it a point to actively listen to their concerns and suggestions for how we could make the workload more manageable. By inviting feedback and acknowledging the challenges, I gave the team a sense of ownership over the project and helped them feel that their opinions were valued. In addition to this, I implemented small changes to improve the work environment. I scheduled brief but frequent breaks throughout the day, allowing the team to step away from their screens and recharge. I also made sure we celebrated even small victories, like hitting key milestones or overcoming difficult issues. I took the time to thank team members for their contributions, both in group settings and one-on-one. These gestures might seem minor, but they went a long way in boosting morale and helping people feel appreciated. As a result, the atmosphere in the team shifted. There was a noticeable improvement in energy and enthusiasm, and the team became more focused and collaborative. We managed to complete the project on time, and despite the challenges, the quality of the deliverables remained high. More importantly, the team emerged from the experience stronger, knowing that they were capable of overcoming tough situations when they worked together and felt supported. Now, Let's look at the analysis that the interviewer might do of this answer. This expanded response demonstrates a candidate's ability to recognize when a team is struggling and take proactive steps to address both morale and productivity. The candidate shows empathy by acknowledging the team's emotional state and understanding the importance of creating an environment where team members feel heard and valued. This is a critical leadership trait, as successful QA leads need to balance the technical demands of a project with the well-being of their team. By facilitating open communication and giving the team a sense of ownership over the process, the candidate shows strong motivational skills. Celebrating small wins and encouraging breaks are simple yet effective strategies for keeping spirits high during long and difficult projects. This approach demonstrates the candidate's commitment to maintaining a positive, productive work culture, even in high-pressure environments. The outcome highlights that the candidate's efforts not only help to complete the project on time, but also strengthen the team's overall cohesion and resilience. This reflects a leadership style that fosters long-term team engagement and performance. Question number 32. Tell me about a time when you had to adapt to a significant change at work. How did you handle it, and what was the outcome? The category of the question is behavioral questions. Target area of the question is to evaluate your adaptability, flexibility, and how you respond to changes in the workplace. The interviewer is assessing your ability to adjust to new challenges, processes, or leadership changes while still maintaining performance and team cohesion. Reason for the question is, in the rapidly changing landscape of software development and quality assurance, new tools, methodologies, and organizational shifts are common. QA leads are expected to quickly adapt to these changes while continuing to drive their teams toward successful outcomes. The ability to handle change effectively is critical as it directly impacts the speed and quality of software releases. Companies want leaders who are flexible and can thrive in dynamic environments. Now let's look at how to structure this answer. 1. Describe the change and how it affected your role or the team. 2. Explain your approach to adapting to the change. 3. Highlight the outcome and how you managed to stay on track despite the change. Now, here is the sample answer based on the answer structure we discussed. In my previous role, the company underwent a major organizational restructure that resulted in our QA team being merged with another testing group. This new team used a completely different approach to automation, which created an immediate challenge for us. While my team had been primarily using Selenium for automated testing, the other group was heavily reliant on Cypress, a tool I had only limited experience. This presented not only a technical challenge, but also a cultural one, as both teams were accustomed to their respective tools and workflows. Recognizing the potential disruption this change could cause, I knew it was important to maintain team morale and ensure a smooth transition. My first step was to bridge the knowledge gap by quickly learning Cypress myself. I took online courses, reviewed documentation, and participated in hands-on sessions with the new team to better understand their workflow and how we could best incorporate their practices into our own. Simultaneously, I initiated a series of cross-team workshops where both groups could share knowledge about their respective tools and approaches, fostering an environment of collaboration rather than competition. To avoid any disruption to ongoing projects, I developed a phased roadmap to gradually introduce Cypress into our existing test frameworks. This allowed us to maintain productivity while learning the new tool and integrating it into our workflows. I also encouraged team members from both groups to participate in the decision-making process, which helped build trust and buy-in from both sides. The outcome was a smooth transition, with both teams becoming more cohesive and aligned over time. Our test coverage expanded as we learned to leverage the strengths of both Selenium and Cypress, which also led to faster test execution times. Ultimately, our ability to adapt to this significant change resulted in more efficient testing processes, and we were able to meet all of our project deadlines without delays. The experience reinforced the importance of flexibility, open communication, and a collaborative approach to problem solving. Now let's look at the analysis which the interviewer might do of this answer. This expanded answer demonstrates strong adaptability and leadership in navigating organizational change. The candidate identified the challenges that arose from the merger of two teams with different approaches and tools, and they took immediate steps to minimize disruption while fostering collaboration. By proactively learning the new tool, Cypress, and creating opportunities for both teams to share knowledge, the candidate highlights their commitment to team cohesion and continuous improvement. The phased integration plan and collaborative decision-making process further underscore the candidate's ability to balance short-term productivity with long-term success. The outcome emphasizes not only the technical improvements, expanded test coverage, and faster execution times, but also the positive cultural impact of uniting the teams. This answer illustrates the candidate's resilience, strategic thinking, and communication skills, making them well-equipped to handle similar changes in the future. Moreover, the candidate's ability to manage the transition without causing delays or disruptions to ongoing projects shows that they can navigate complex situations while maintaining focus on delivery. This is a critical quality for QA leads, especially in environments where change is constant and deadlines are tight. Question number 33. Can you give an example of a time when you disagreed with a decision made by your manager? How did you handle the situation? The category of the question is behavioral questions. Target area of the question is to assess how you handle disagreements with authority and your ability to express dissent in a constructive manner. The interviewer is looking for whether you can manage conflict diplomatically without letting it negatively affect the team's productivity or relationships. Reason for the question is, as a QA lead, there may be times when you disagree with strategic decisions related to testing approaches, tool selection, or timelines. However, it's essential to navigate these disagreements professionally while considering the broader impact on the team and the organization. This question evaluates your capacity for mature, respectful communication and collaboration in challenging situations. Now let's look at how to structure this answer. 1. Describe the disagreement and the context around it. 2. Explain how you approached the conversation with your manager. 3. Highlight the outcome and how the disagreement was resolved. Now here is the sample answer based on the answer structure we discussed. During a critical product launch, my manager decided to significantly shorten our testing cycle due to a tight deadline. While I understood the pressure from stakeholders to meet the release date, I was concerned that this would compromise the quality of the product. Specifically, the reduction in time meant skipping some key test scenarios that had historically uncovered high-priority defects. I felt strongly that moving forward without these tests could result in critical issues slipping through to production, which could lead to negative user feedback and costly fixes later on. Instead of voicing my disagreement publicly or in an emotional manner, I decided to approach the situation carefully. I scheduled a private one-on-one meeting with my manager to express my concerns. I made sure to frame the conversation not as a disagreement, but as an opportunity to assess potential risks. I started by acknowledging the importance of meeting deadlines and the external pressures the team was under. Then, I presented data from previous releases where cutting corners during testing had led to significant post-launch defects. I also outlined the specific areas of the product that I believed carried the highest risk and why those needed to be thoroughly tested. To show that I wasn't just opposing the decision without offering a solution, I proposed an alternative approach. Rather than extending the entire testing cycle, we could focus our limited time on testing the most critical features, ensuring that the highest risk areas receive proper attention. This compromise would allow us to meet the deadline while still maintaining a high level of quality for the key features of the product. My manager appreciated the fact that I brought data and past experiences to the table instead of simply disagreeing with the decision. After discussing the pros and cons, we agreed to move forward with the modified testing plan. In the end, we were able to meet the deadline, and the product was launched successfully without any major issues being reported by users. The situation not only helped me strengthen my relationship with my manager, but also demonstrated the value of data-driven decision-making in maintaining product quality under tight constraints. Now, let's look at the analysis that the interviewer might do of this answer. This expanded answer highlights several important qualities that interviewers look for in a QA lead. First, the candidate demonstrates diplomacy by choosing to address the disagreement privately and respectfully. This shows emotional intelligence and an understanding of how to navigate sensitive situations with superiors. The approach of using data and evidence to support the candidate's position is particularly effective, as it shifts the conversation from being about personal opinions to a more objective discussion about risk management and product quality. The candidate also shows flexibility and problem-solving skills by proposing a compromise, rather than simply opposing the decision. This demonstrates the ability to think critically and offer constructive solutions, which is essential in leadership. The emphasis on collaboration and the project's successful outcome further highlights the candidate's ability to handle disagreements in a way that benefits both the team and the product. By focusing on how they presented their concerns calmly and professionally, the candidate shows maturity and respect for their manager's authority, which is crucial in a high-pressure environment. At the same time, the candidate's willingness to stand up for the integrity of the product reflects their commitment to quality, a key trait for any QA lead. Finally, the successful resolution of the disagreement demonstrates the power of clear, data-driven communication and the importance of balancing deadlines with quality in software development. Question number 34. Describe a time when you had to collaborate with a difficult team member. How did you manage to work together effectively? The category of the question is behavioral questions. Target area of the question is to assess your interpersonal and collaboration skills, especially when working with challenging personalities. The interviewer wants to know if you can maintain professionalism, communicate effectively, and focus on shared goals even when faced with difficult team dynamics. Reason for the question is, collaboration is at the heart of a QA lead's role, especially in cross-functional teams. Sometimes you'll encounter difficult personalities, whether due to conflicting priorities or differences in working styles. The ability to navigate these situations without allowing them to hinder project progress is crucial, as companies seek leaders who can foster a positive, productive work environment even under challenging conditions. Now let's look at how to structure this answer. 1. Describe the difficult team members and the challenge of working with them. 2. Explain the approach you took to collaborate effectively. 3. Highlight the outcome and any lessons learned from the experience. Now, here is the sample answer based on the answer structure we discussed. In one project, I was assigned to work closely with a developer who had a reputation for being uncooperative, especially when it came to addressing bug reports. They often dismissed QA feedback without proper discussion, which led to frustration within the QA team. This was creating bottlenecks in our process, and the tension between the teams was beginning to affect productivity. While other team members were starting to avoid collaborating with the developer, I knew we needed to find a solution to keep the project moving forward efficiently. Instead of escalating the issue to management, which I felt could create further friction, I decided to approach the situation diplomatically. I reached out to the developer and suggested we meet one-on-one in an informal setting to discuss the issues. During the meeting, I made a conscious effort to really listen to their perspective and understand their challenges. They explained that they were under a lot of pressure to meet development deadlines and were frustrated by what they perceived as QA slowing them down with minor issues. This insight helped me understand their resistance and allowed me to shift the conversation toward finding a middle ground. I reframed the feedback from QA not as criticism, but as part of a shared goal of delivering a high-quality product. I emphasized how addressing specific issues early could prevent larger problems down the line, ultimately saving time and effort. I also acknowledged the developer's workload and suggested prioritizing the most critical bugs so their time was spent on the most impactful fixes. I made it clear that our goal was not just to catch errors, but to support the development team in creating a successful release. Over time, this approach led to a noticeable shift in our working relationship. The developer began to see the value in the QA process and became more open to collaboration. I also made a point to highlight their successful fixes and contributions during team meetings, which helped build mutual respect. By the end of the project, we had established a much smoother workflow, with fewer delays and miscommunications. The project was completed on time, and the quality of the release exceeded expectations, with fewer post-launch defects than anticipated. This experience taught me several valuable lessons about collaboration and leadership. First, taking the time to understand and empathize with a colleague's perspective can diffuse tension and lead to more productive conversations. Second, reframing feedback in a way that aligns with the other person's goals can make it easier for them to accept and act on that feedback. Finally, small gestures like acknowledging someone's contributions publicly can go a long way in building rapport and improving teamwork. Now let's look at the analysis which interviewer might do of this answer. This expanded answer provides deeper insight into the candidate's ability to manage difficult interpersonal dynamics in a professional setting. The candidate demonstrates strong emotional intelligence by not immediately escalating the conflict and choosing instead to open a line of communication. This proactive approach shows leadership and maturity, especially in handling what could have been a divisive situation. The candidate also displays empathy by taking the time to listen and understand the developer's frustrations, showing a willingness to find common ground. By reframing the feedback as part of a shared goal rather than criticism, the candidate illustrates a key leadership skill: the ability to communicate constructively in a way that motivates rather than alienates others. This shows that the candidate understands how to align their team's objectives with those of other departments, which is crucial in cross-functional collaboration. The outcome of the story, a stronger working relationship, a smoother workflow, and a successful project, demonstrates the candidate's ability to resolve conflicts in a way that benefits the entire team. This highlights important qualities such as problem-solving, patience, and the ability to see the bigger picture. The candidate's use of recognition and praise to build trust further shows that they understand how to create a positive and productive team environment, even in challenging circumstances. Overall, this response showcases the essential skills of empathy, diplomacy, and effective communication, all of which are vital for a QA lead responsible for collaborating with diverse teams and navigating complex project dynamics. The focus on resolution and the positive outcome also reflects a growth mindset and the ability to turn challenges into opportunities for team improvement. Question number 35. Can you give an example of a time when you took the initiative to improve a process? What was the impact? The category of the question is behavioral questions. Target area of the question is to assess your initiative, problem-solving abilities, and continuous improvement mindset. The interviewer wants to understand whether you proactively look for opportunities to improve processes and how you can make a tangible impact on the team's efficiency and effectiveness. Reason for the questions based on resume or current market need. In a QA lead role, continuous improvement is key. Whether it's refining test strategies, adopting new tools, or streamlining workflows, being proactive in improving processes can significantly enhance the team's performance and the quality of the product. Companies are looking for leaders who don't wait for problems to arise, but instead take action to prevent them and improve efficiency. Now let's look at how to structure this answer. 1. Describe the process that needed improvement and why. 2. Explain the steps you took to improve it. 3. Highlight the impact the change had on the team or the project. Now, here is the sample answer based on the answer structure we discussed. During one project, I noticed that our manual testing processes were significantly slowing down the release cycle, particularly during the regression testing phase. We were re-executing the same test cases across different environments every time there was a new build, which was not only repetitive, but also delayed the product release. This was especially problematic in high-pressure sprints where time was of the essence. Additionally, the manual nature of the process increased the risk of human error, which could potentially lead to defects slipping through the cracks. Recognizing the inefficiency, I took the initiative to improve the process. I started by analyzing which test cases were the most repetitive and high impact, particularly those that covered core functionality critical to the product's performance. After identifying these, I proposed to the team that we automate these test cases to free up time for more exploratory testing. To do this, I spearheaded the effort to implement Selenium for browser-based automation and integrated it with our Jenkins continuous integration (CI) pipeline to enable automated regression testing after every build. In addition to leading the automation setup, I collaborated with the developers and other QA team members to ensure that the automated tests were well documented and aligned with the overall testing strategy. We also set up daily automated test runs that would provide instant feedback on the code, allowing us to catch and resolve issues earlier in the development cycle. This gave the developers more confidence in their code changes, as they knew any critical bugs would be identified almost immediately. The impact of this initiative was substantial. Our regression testing time decreased by 40%, allowing us to meet tighter release deadlines without compromising on quality. The time saved on manual testing enabled the QA team to focus on more complex test scenarios and perform more thorough exploratory testing, leading to a higher quality product. Additionally, because we were able to identify critical defects earlier, our overall defect count in production decreased, which improved user satisfaction. The success of this initiative encouraged the team to continue expanding our automation coverage in future projects, and it became a standard part of our process moving forward. This experience not only reinforced the importance of identifying process bottlenecks, but also demonstrated how automation, when strategically implemented, can significantly improve both efficiency and product quality. It also helped me develop stronger collaboration with the development team as we worked together to ensure the smooth integration of the new testing process. Now let's look at the analysis that the interviewer might do of this answer. This expanded response effectively illustrates the candidate's proactive approach to problem solving and process improvement. The candidate identifies a clear inefficiency in the manual testing process and takes the initiative to address it, which demonstrates leadership and foresight, qualities that are essential in a QA lead role. The decision to automate high-impact, repetitive test cases shows that the candidate is strategic in prioritizing improvements that deliver the most significant benefits in terms of time savings and defect detection. The technical expertise involved in selecting Selenium and integrating it with Jenkins highlights the candidate's solid understanding of automation tools and their application in a continuous integration environment. This is critical for modern QA roles, where automation plays a key part in ensuring timely, high-quality releases. The result: an impressive 40% reduction in regression testing time provides quantifiable evidence of the impact of the candidate's initiative. Not only does this improvement enhance the team's efficiency, but it also allows for more time to focus on exploratory testing, which can uncover issues that automated tests might miss. The positive outcome on the overall quality of the product, along with a reduction in post-release defects, further underscores the value of the candidate's actions. The answer also highlights the candidate's ability to collaborate with cross-functional teams, such as developers and other QA members, to ensure the success of the process improvement. This shows strong communication and teamwork skills, which are critical in any leadership role. By sharing the success of this initiative with the team and making automation a standard part of future projects, the candidate demonstrates their ability to drive lasting improvements and foster a culture of continuous improvement within the team. Overall, this response showcases key leadership qualities, including initiative, problem-solving, technical know-how, and the ability to drive meaningful changes that positively impact both the team and the product. Question number 36. Describe a time when you had to manage competing priorities. How did you handle it, and what was the outcome? The category of the question is behavioral questions. Target area of the question is to assess time management, prioritization, and decision-making skills. The interviewer is looking for examples of how you manage multiple tasks, especially under tight deadlines, and how you make decisions about what to prioritize. Reason for the question is, QA leads are often tasked with managing multiple projects simultaneously, balancing urgent bug fixes with ongoing testing efforts. The ability to prioritize effectively ensures that high-impact tasks are addressed first without compromising long-term goals. Companies value leaders who can juggle competing demands and maintain focus on what's most important. Now let's look at how to structure this answer. 1. Describe the situation where you had to manage competing priorities. 2. Explain how you decided what to prioritize. 3. Highlight the outcome and how you maintained focus on key tasks. Now, here is the sample answer based on the answer structure we discussed. In one project, we were in the final stages of preparing for a major product release that was highly anticipated by both internal stakeholders and our users. At the same time, a critical bug was discovered in the production environment that was negatively affecting several key customers. Both the product release and the bug fix were considered high priority, and the deadlines for both tasks were overlapping, placing immense pressure on the team. Unfortunately, we didn't have the bandwidth to handle both tasks simultaneously at full capacity. Given the urgency of the situation, I quickly realized that I needed to decide on how to allocate our limited resources without jeopardizing either task. I started by conducting a risk assessment, which involved evaluating the potential impact of delaying the product release versus addressing the bug fix first. The production bug was causing real-time issues for customers, leading to negative feedback and potential business loss. On the other hand, while the product release was important, it wasn't causing any immediate harm and had more flexibility in terms of timeline. After discussing with both the QA team and key stakeholders, I decided to prioritize the bug fix. I reassigned some team members to focus on identifying the root cause of the issue and developing a patch. At the same time, I communicated openly with the product release team about the delay, explaining the critical nature of the customer issue and providing them with a revised timeline. I ensured that the resources remaining on the product release continued their work to avoid a complete standstill while we worked on the fix. The team worked efficiently, and we were able to roll out a patch to resolve the bug within 48 hours, restoring service for the affected customers. Once the production issue was addressed, we reallocated the full team's efforts to the product release. Despite the delay, we were able to deliver the release only a few days later than originally planned, and the clear communication and transparency throughout the process helped manage expectations from the business side. Ultimately, both tasks were completed successfully, with the bug fix preserving customer satisfaction and the product release delivering the expected value without sacrificing quality. This experience taught me the importance of balancing short-term, high-impact crises with longer-term objectives, and how to manage competing priorities by focusing on the bigger picture. It also reinforced the importance of communication and transparency with stakeholders when making difficult prioritization decisions. Now let's look at the analysis which interviewer might do of this answer. This expanded response highlights several key strengths that are critical for a QA lead. First, the candidate demonstrates strong prioritization and decision-making skills by conducting a thorough risk assessment to determine the most urgent task. By focusing on the customer impact of the live issue, the candidate shows an understanding of business priorities and the importance of maintaining customer satisfaction, even in the face of competing demands. The candidate's ability to communicate effectively is also emphasized. Rather than simply making decisions in isolation, the candidate involves stakeholders by explaining the rationale behind the prioritization and adjusting timelines where necessary. This demonstrates transparency and ensures that all parties are aligned on the path forward, which is critical in a fast-paced environment where expectations need to be managed. The outcome of the situation further supports the candidate's ability to handle multiple priorities without compromising on quality. By successfully delivering both the bug fix and the product release, the candidate proves that they can balance short-term crises with long-term goals, ensuring that neither task is neglected. The fact that the team was able to restore service quickly and still deliver the product release with only a slight delay speaks to the candidate's strong organizational and leadership skills. Furthermore, this response reflects the candidate's ability to stay calm and methodical under pressure. The structured approach to solving the issue through risk assessment, communication, and resource allocation shows that the candidate can maintain focus and make rational decisions in high-stress situations. Overall, this answer illustrates the candidate's capacity for handling multiple priorities effectively, a critical trait for a QA lead who must often juggle competing demands while delivering high-quality results. Please provide your valuable feedback in the comment below and which question you need to be covered next in the area of QA lead. We have already made 2 series for the Introduction General Questions category and Experience-Based Questions. Link in the description below, or you visit our channel for more. In upcoming videos, we will cover the following categories of the question: 1. Introduction General Questions. 2. Experience-Based Questions. 3. Behavioral questions. 4. Technical questions. Job-specific position-related questions. 6. Situational or problem-solving questions. 7. Cultural fit questions. 8. Questions about the company. 9. Closing conclusion questions. If you're interested to know more, please like, share, and subscribe. Also click on the bell icon to get notified when new video is dropping on the channel. Thank you for watching our video. And remember, success in an interview is not just about knowing the answers. It's about knowing your story, showcasing your strengths, and believing in your potential. Every question is an opportunity to demonstrate the value only you can bring. Believe in yourself, prepare with purpose, and you'll achieve what you're aiming for. All the best for your preparation.